because I've taken a photo of this and I thought it looked great, so I thought to myself, why don't I shoot a quick video to show you the shimmering silver red line. There you go. Look at that. This sunshine makes the watch look great, and you can see the detail around the bezel and case there. Doesn't it look good? Anyway, this is the MRG square silver with the thin red line. So I thought to myself, I have to show you what I'm wearing, because I realized that today I have the G-Shock MRG square with a thin red line. It's very hot and sunny, but I'm in a lovely place, and I thought to myself, why don't I show you, why don't I take you for a walk with the G-Shock square? And if I turn the camera like this, you can see where I am. I'm in the south of France, and it's such a lovely place. And what happens is some days it can be not so warm, and then just like clicking your fingers, it is just delightful. But I thought to myself, you know, what's the appropriate watch today? Now, don't get me wrong, I do like mechanical watches, I really do, and I still desire a lot of mechanical watches, but I think I've said this before a number of times. G-Shock continues to inspire me. And I read something, well, I saw something in the Watch Pro publication about how our tastes change with our age. Now, you'd expect someone of my age to be sporting a Rolex or a Vacheron Constantin or Bremont or a Patek, if you've got the firepower, perhaps a Patek. And but going down towards the more dress watch, the more classy watch, like Breguet, actually I do like Breguet, and Blancpain. I like, so I'm one of the, I tend to like a lot of mechanical wristwatches of all the usual suspects. I do like them. Do I like them enough to buy? The price of the watch does become a factor, and I think that's the same for everyone. But saying that, even if I had some of these watches I've just mentioned, I've got a feeling that the G-Shock square, I think this watch for some reason has found its way into my heart, and perhaps many people will think that aesthetic, it is really a younger aesthetic. Perhaps much younger than me, I'm not too sure. Hold on, we have some motorbikes here. Let's see how they, there we go. The reason I paused there is because the microphone, they were quite noisy. Oh, look at this. If we've got this lovely path down there. But I'm going to go, actually, I'm going to continue going up this road here. And the view that we get to in a minute, in fact, I'll just turn the camera. Look at that. That's one of the other things I love about this place, these valleys, is the views are just spectacular. And this old French, south of France architecture is delightful. It's all like this around here. It's very, very nice. Look at that. And just whilst actually I can probably put this in the camera so you can view. There you go. Oh, that's probably a very good shot, isn't it? Oh wow, yeah, I can see that's very good. Anyway, so going back to the watches, going back to our taste in watches as we get older, that definitely happens. And also, I'm going to add here that your interest in watches can wane. I've heard other people say that, big collectors actually, that their interest in watches does wane over time. But the inevitability of your interest coming back and you finding that burst of enthusiasm again, it always happens. So it's quite a nice thing. So whenever I do feel a little bit watched out, I've seen too many watches, I tend to put them all away, and so they're out of sight. And I'll go for a few days, and I've been busy, so I haven't really had the chance to think about watches. And then all of a sudden, you see something, or an email pops in, or you open your watch box, and you see, instantly that interest and enthusiasm in your watches, happens. I have to say though that so many times I pick up these squares because of course they're digital and the time's always set, so I never have to set the time. Plus it's always very accurate, and functions, the utility of these digital watches is very real. So I often use the stopwatch function and the alarm function. So I am one of those geeks that actually uses the buttons and the functionality, on the watch. But let's just go over here again. Look at that. I mean, you're not going to beat that, are you? It really is delightful. I'll get myself out of the way for a moment. Look at that. It's very nice. This is Puycelsi in the south of France. Isn't it absolutely delightful? Absolutely, our taste and interest in watches changes over time. That is for sure. In a previous video, I'd said that I'd come across the Citizen Eco Drive, the part number BN-1024, and literally the day that I was putting that video together, an email came in informing me that the limited edition blue variant was being released. And I looked at it and I thought, I liked the black one and the red dial anyway, and then I saw that blue one and I thought, this is, again, I was talking about you come across some marketing information, you come across a new watch or a new color variant, and it sparks that enthusiastic interest. I saw that watch, and I'm going to remind myself in the video to pop in some images of that watch, because it's really got me. Reminding me of how these dive watches, Citizen and Seiko dive watches, made me feel years ago. And that was basically what the video was about. Yes, so our tastes change as you get older, and you would think that when you're young, you like a certain watch. You would perhaps expect that as you're a bit older, your taste is going to mature. So perhaps you do head over towards the Rolex, Patek Philippe dress watch. Actually, I've just said that, and one of the watches or the brands that has caught my attention once again is Berneron, the Berneron Mirage. And I know that this year they are going to be releasing the Berneron Quantième, which is an annual calendar, I think. Hopefully it's an annual calendar. Anyway, that looks lovely, and it's I think if I was going down the Rolex Patek route, well, no, sorry, not Rolex, because I suppose the ones I like are more the sporty ones, but the dressy watches, No, actually, there's a couple of the new Rolexes, the Land Dweller, for example. That's very dressy. Well, dressy for me, I like it. But if I was going down the Patek direction, I think I'd be very... I would be looking at the Berneron Mirage and the Berneron Quantième for sure. But then Patek, yes, there are a few... You know, what's my favourite Patek? Probably... do you know, I do like them all, because I think you are, I think you really are heading, you're finding your interest perhaps is brand based, and because I like generally the Patek watches, yeah, isn't it interesting when you're on camera and you are forcing yourself to come up with your favourite? I know that if I offer a favourite, it's not going to be that accurate, because you know, there isn't one single favourite. I kind of like a few of the designs, but it's the brand that I like as well. And I suppose I'm one of those people that does heavily associate the brand with the watches that you like, and some of the designs that you like. I think, for example, when you say Rolex, for most people, I imagine what they're going to, what that word, what that brand is going to conjure straight away is perhaps the Submariner, the Day-Date, the Datejust, the Oyster Perpetual. I imagine that the word Rolex, that's what it conjures up straight away. And I suppose that's how I see, you know, Patek watches. I've instantly got the Aquanaut, the Nautilus, the 5711, the integrated bracelet, the thin profile. And so when you say Patek or Rolex or Omega, straight away, if you say Omega, I'm thinking of the Speedmaster, the Man on the Moon Speedmaster. It conjures up the Hesselite dial, the manual wind, the ProProf, the very large dive watch. And then, you know, when you say Burner, when I remind myself of Berneron, I'm thinking of the Mirage, and now, because I've been so fortunate to see it, I'm thinking of the Quantième. But I'm also thinking, what's going to be the next Berneron watch? The same way I think to myself, what's going to be the next Rolex watch? Is it going to be an iteration of their existing pieces, which is likely for the next year or two? But wouldn't it be lovely if Rolex have another Land Dweller up their sleeve? You know, perhaps a completely new Submariner. That would be amazing. Well, it would be amazing for someone like me that really appreciates, you know, lots of variations of the same thing. But also that style, that Submariner diving style of watch. I think Rolex, I think there is enough space in the marketplace for Rolex to produce another dive watch. You know, perhaps you know, a little bit bigger than the Sub, a little bit smaller than the Sea Dweller. I mean, I am a Sea Dweller fan, and I love big diving watches. You can probably tell with my interest and my delightfulness around this new Citizen Eco Drive. So as we get older, yes, we are supposed to be heading towards the direction of something more sophisticated, more dressy. If I bring my taste into question, that perhaps hasn't really happened. I think 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I perhaps was more taken by mechanical watches, more dress watches. I'm pretty sure I was, actually. Today, I am more into the, you know, the MRG, very sporty, very young-looking digital squares. I like, obviously, their Frogman. This Citizen is a young, sporty watch, and it really has got me. But I still do like the dressy classical watches. Now, let's bring price into the conversation, because price is probably part of the decision making where you put some of your interest some of the time. Because if you really don't have a budget that lends itself towards Rolex and Patek and watches like the Burnneron. I suppose subconsciously what you are going to be thinking as a collector or an enthusiast is, because I really can't afford those watches, I perhaps I won't invest that much interest in them because I really know that they're not obtainable. I understand that, and perhaps I do that myself, but perhaps I don't as well, because I do find myself spending a lot of time looking at these watches that are perhaps out of my reach to purchase, because I do think it's nice to have a dream generally, but to also have a grail watch or a watch that you really want perhaps in the future. One day you might win the lottery, one day you might inherit some money, or you might save up. For me, definitely my most favourite way of getting hold of a new watch is to save up for it, because the process of saving up actually straightens out your desire to have the watch. Because if you start saving for a particular watch one day, the next day you can bet your bottom dollar you perhaps still want that watch, but you've changed your mind on the colour variation, the colour dial. Another week you might go back to the original colour of dial. But if you're still saving into a few months, I find that not only does your dial colour change, but the actual watch can change. And I think that is highly valuable, because it makes you think to yourself, okay, I'm going to end up pulling the trigger. It's cost me a lot, so why don't I make sure that I've got the watch in question that I really like? So the saving process is the very thing that actually solidifies your real desire, but also makes sure that you're choosing the watch that you really want. So it's a very nice process. Anyway, look at where we are again. I've come back down this hill because I'm avoiding people and I don't want to disrupt their quiet day. Isn't it lovely? And I wanted to say something about our taste as we get older. Mine seems to be getting younger, and I know I have a particular kind of taste, and it won't suit everyone, but it doesn't diminish my interest in everything else. And I suppose what I should do one day is watches that I would have if there was no budget restrictions, that kind of thing. I will do that one day. Anyway, I think I've chatted enough. I'm going to say ciao for now, and I hope everybody is very well.